It's actually the highlight of my evening to be able to introduce the next speaker to you. This is a woman I've known for 22 years. We first met in eastern Pennsylvania at an Eden Alternative training, and Kathy was telling me before the event that she was assigned to go to the training, didn't want to go, thought it would be a waste of time, and it wound up having a tremendous impact on her work. And I have to say, Jude and I have always felt that the real role of the Eden Alternative was like that little thing you do when you're a kid and the dandelions get all puffy, and you go, and the seeds just go out into the world, and then amazing things happen. And so it was almost 20 years after we first met that I was at home, got a phone call from Kathy, and she told me that she had a vision, a dream of a village of hope, of a way that people of different ages and abilities, different levels of thinking and remembering, different wishes and desires could come together and create a community of mutual concern. And I was so taken by this vision that I got in the car, I drove to Clearfield County, as you tend to do, and I met with her and her team. And it was on that day that I knew something new was going to come into the world. Because it wasn't just Kathy. She was surrounded by talented people who could see what she saw and were willing to do what needed to be done to make it happen. So now we're a year into the work of turning the Village of Hope into a reality. And it is my pleasure to introduce Kathy Gillespie, the Executive Director of the Clearfield County Area Agency on Aging, and role model and inspiration to me. Kath?
Wow, that's a lot of pressure. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the first public introduction of the Village of Hope. And, you know, I think that there is a reason for everything. And everybody here is part of the solution, right? So we all know what the problem is, right? We have a lack of affordable housing for seniors, for elders. We have a serious drug epidemic. We have grandchildren and great-grandchildren being raised by grandparents and great-grandparents. In our county, we're working with 6 individuals who are in their late 70s, early 80s, who have sole custody of toddlers. Can you imagine? We have elders who no longer drive, but have these children to raise because of the opioid epidemic. We don't have good support for those folks, right? So now we not only have elders at risk, we have children at risk as well. We don't have any good way of providing supportive services for families who are living with Alzheimer's disease, and it is a family disease. Early onset Alzheimer's disease specifically, people under the age of 60 who still have kids in high school, right? with frontotemporal dementia or the dementias that impact personality, with a lack of direct care workers. We all know that that's a crisis, right? And a lack of family support. And we talk to the people that are living this every day. In my county, 650 hot meals a day provided to individuals over the age of 60, and we see deplorable living conditions. We deliver meals to people who live in shacks on the side of the road. We can do better, right? We deliver meals to people who will only accept the meal if we meet them in their car, because they don't want us to see the house. They don't want us to come in. And do you know why? The biggest fear that elders have is going to a nursing home. Biggest fear. They would rather live in their car. They would rather live without heat. They would rather live without food. They would rather live without their medications than go to a nursing home, because at least they have their independence. They maintain some amount of control. We have elders who have been sole support for adult children with disabilities. And they call us and they say, look, I've saved my money, right? Because we're not getting any younger. So what's going to happen to Rena when we die? What are the options for adult children with disabilities when the support from their parents is no longer there? There's no current evidence-based program to integrate them into community, so they end up in a personal care home, a group home, or a nursing home. And if our elders don't want to be there, adult children with disabilities don't want to be there. We as a society have focused on deinstitutionalizing individuals with mental health issues, deinstitutionalizing prisoners, and we have got to start deinstitutionalizing our elders. They are segregated from society through no fault of their own, and they have so much to give. The Village of Hope is created to provide another option for those people. Imagine what we could do, right? So what if you had another option to have your services in a home that was comfortable, that was yours, was your place, right? Where all of the services came to you. And what if we were able to provide opportunity for the lowest paid workers, the direct care workers, to live in the community and provide help and services to their neighbors and get a reduced rent on their homes? So we've teamed up with Minka, and we're going to create a new community. We're going to create a new village, the Village of Hope, because a family member once said to me when we were starting their first dementia care unit in central Pennsylvania, and we were thinking of a name, what could we name it? And she said, you know, if it were me, I would just want to know that there's hope. And there is hope because we care, and it's a common sense approach to providing services to individuals with disabilities and to individuals living with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. I don't know when there will be a cure. I hope that there will be a cure, but right now, we have to provide a service. We have to educate people on what it's like to live with dementia. We have to educate communities, and we have to create prototypes that can be replicated across the country. The Village of Hope is going to be the first of its kind, not only in Pennsylvania, not only in our country, but in fact in the world, right? Where people give as well as receive services. We have school students, kids, teenagers who are homeless, right? They have an address and they couch surf, or they live out of their car. And school administrators tell me they can name at least half a dozen every year that are graduating that are homeless because the parents have moved away or the parents are preoccupied with something else and nobody is providing that care. So what if we could match those teenagers up with the elders who are so lonely and so isolated? And that's what the Village of Hope is about. It's about providing care and services to people when they want it and where they want it. There is potential here to change the whole way that we think about aging, to change the whole way that we medically care for people when we put the control back to the person or to their family. So we're creating on 23 acres of land a development of Minka houses that will be technologically advanced, smart homes, that will be telehealth capable, so people will be able to see their doctor and get to the doctor. And those children being raised by elders who don't drive can also be seen by the pediatrician via telehealth. We have potential opportunity. We're going to have human habitats at the Village of Hope where people can grow fresh produce 365 days a year. And we'll have in the school building that's there a hub of wellness and education. We'll work on health literacy. We'll transfer skills to individuals so that they can manage their own chronic health conditions and reduce the risk of hospitalization and institutionalization. And I know we can do it. I know we can do it not only in central Pennsylvania, but we can do it in our country. And we owe it to the people that have taken care of us and paved the way for us. And so in closing, I just want to thank you all for your attention, for your coming, and please dream about what you would want it to be, right? We need to create where we're going to be comfortable living because we're going to continue to live, right? So thank you so very much for your time.